Go to the Pulver Report night. Let's get started. We know there's risk in trading. Please then always use trade capital only. You know the deal there. Everything we're talking about is for educational purposes only. This is the week performance in the S&P 500. Um, Mostly green. Things are up. I'm seeing pre-market this morning. We got the SPY looking at 500. So our SPX is looking around 5,000, which was really the milestone. I think a milestone. So we'll see if the market celebrates it and takes profit, or the market celebrates and says, "Let's keep going." So everything, big companies are up. Amazon's up from the earnings blast last week. We had highs around 171. It's trading around 170. Google 147. Meta 470. Nvidia 696, just off the 700 highs. Microsoft at 414. It's off the highs around 419, 420. Eli Lilly continues to chug along, 735. We looked at the trade this week on Eli Lilly. I'm trying to think. I still don't think it's covering what I'm going to look at that chart. We were looking at a trade on Monday for Eli Lilly. And let me see what I typed up here. So we had a situation where hypothetically we could have taken, and I said hypothetically because it was really expensive. It just like the options pricing didn't really work out. We didn't take the trade. We had this huge earnings blast up towards 742. If we wanted to make this inexpensive and do the 25-30 deltas, we'd have to go 750 by 770. We didn't cross that level. So that would not be profitable. If we want to do the 710, that would have been maybe barely profitable. But it wasn't enough. So I'm really happy that we, saved $8.30 or saved 28.39. There's an expensive trade and an overpriced option trade. So it is what it is. Now, I am curious with this area, if we get, maybe I can take this area, and look at an options trade where if it's going to be, blast off of earnings and then a little bit of indecision because the stock has been ripping to the upside, maybe there's some premium to collect there. I might actually look at that today. I've got a whole list of stocks. So LY. Microsoft, Disney, Spotify, Nvidia, AMD, TSM is Taiwan Semiconductors, ABBV, Apple, Eli Lilly. Those are stocks I want to look at today for some potential option trades. Let's go back to the SPY really quickly. Chris, good morning. Joseph, good morning. Angela, good morning. Nice to see everybody. Good morning and happy Friday. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. Pre-market is 499.63. We take a look at Market Watch and see what the futures market is showing us. Futures up, Dow Jones. Futures up, S&P. Futures up, NASDAQ. So looks like we have another up day coming. Futures extends gains after CPI revisions. Oh, interesting. I wonder what those revisions are. Hi, buddy. I know I can't pick you up right now. Benji wants to get up on my lap, and I can't really lift him up. Stop. Come here, right there. There, lay down. He doesn't realize I have one arm. So, all right, let me see what this is all about. CPI revisions. Q4 core. What? Q4 core CPI 3-month annual rate unrevised at 3.3% after seasonal factors. Okay. Let's see. Using seasonally adjusted numbers was unchanged at 3.3 after government's annual revisions. Update shows that price increases continue to slow towards pre-pandemic levels. In short, they're small and don't change the big picture at all. Boom. There. Cool. So I guess the market's excited about that. New CPI numbers may have caused the Fed to raise interest rates a bit more in 2023 than they planned, hurting some home buyers and borrowers. Actual unadjusted rate of CPI inflation in the past 12 months was the same at 3.4%, and the core rate was up the same 3.9 in the same span. Cool. Concerns about narrow market breadth are overblown. Economist says this is why. Let's see, Ed Yardeni. So yeah, I mean that is, to me, that's concern. Market breadth doesn't really exist. Advanced decline line. Let's see if it shows it for the day or the week. If we go to FinViz, take a look at the heat map. It doesn't show for today. Oh, fudge. I want to see what it had for yesterday. Um, anyway, here's the AAII sentiment report. It's creeping up there towards the 1-year highs. So historically, the 1-year high at 52.9% bullish. We're at 49% right now. Again, not saying that this is any indication of we have to have a top, but when we get into overly bullish highs, we might even say that that's the greed index. In fact, I can look at that greed index. Let's take a look at it. And open interest levels for this week's expiration, the 9th. Let me update this. I don't need to be a member to see free data, dude. Come on. All right, hang on. Let's go to barchart.com again. Barchart.com. Let's go SPY. And I'm looking for I think I'm looking for volatility in Greeks. Yes. So what the heck, dude? Why do I care about yesterday's expiration? Oh my gosh. All right. Let me just log in with a Gmail account and see if it gives me something. All right. Just had to sign in, I suppose. Open interest levels. 493 has our highest open interest to the downside. 500 second at 20,000 contracts. Let me bring up, we're 22 minutes away from opening bell. I'll look at the pre-market levels really quickly on my option software and see what the big gamma levels are looking like. We had big volume. So you can see here, looking at some volume pumping into this 500 level for today. I mean, if we're there, that's kind of checking the box. Doesn't mean we have to go through it, but 500, 510 to the upside, 493. That's an interesting spot, especially for today's expiration, to see if there's a little bit of a profit taking window. Volume wise, it's pretty quiet right now. I go SPY 5-minute pre-market. Yeah, I've got the big open interest level at 493. It's 462 on the gamma level, 611 to the upside at 500 on the nose. Okay. I would say, I don't know, maybe a little buckle up action today. Could have some decent volatility. If it opens at 500 and just sits there and struggles, we might fade off that move by the end of the day. I'm curious if a gap open at 500 and then like a bear call spread for today or Monday expiration would work, or maybe you can go out a little bit further out of the money and see if there's something you can collect over the weekend. Let me see if I can log into my Tasty Trade account. I'll log into Tasty Trade and see how far out I can go for Monday and maybe get paid on it, but probably won't be great. Might be 15-20 cents over the weekend, maybe less, just because it's such a short expiration. Okay. FK, good morning. Gary, good morning. Trish, good morning. David, good morning. Gail in the house. Again, everybody, Friday. And my restream is loading, frozen. All right, we should be good. AV check. Everybody hear me? Give me a wire. Yes. Just open up extra platforms. Lots of stuff going on. Okay, want to go to the SPY, go into trade. Perfect. Thank you, thank you. Willard. Yep, good, good, good. All right, excellent. So if I went to today's the 9th, if I go to the 12th, I was curious. Do I have this trade on? So this is a bear call. This is an iron condor. So I have this trade on right now for Monday. So I'm looking to see if we fade off of that $500 level. We see probability of profit. So my Disney's going to finish at profit. SPY about 50-50 right now. FCX 74% probability of profit. DIA profit. SLV profit. These are looking good. All right, so we'll look at the SPY. Let's look at a 13 expiration. So the expected move 494 to 502. If I was looking at like a, let's go 14 delta, and to the downside 13 delta. So I can grab about 25 cents with dollar spreads if I went out to Tuesday next week, see if it just stays contained. It's not a bad trade. So I might look at that. That's a 14 by 13. So probability of profit 71%, 26 cents collect, and a 74-cent risk. I might look at that for Tuesday. All right. Anyway, let's do the overview. I feel like I'm getting too much in the weeds today. So let's see if 500, hits. Congratulations, S&P, SPX hitting 5,000. Is there profit taking there? Possibly. Do we have some gaps to fill? Here's another chart to take a look at some pivots. I mean, I'm going to get rid of some of these lines. This clearly it's gotten sloppy over the last little bit. Okay, so trying to clean this up. If we have a little zoom in here on the daily chart, I'm still seeing overbought conditions. Subgraph wise, we're just pinned at this relative strength index overbought condition. What is the timing here? This is the tough part. I mean, technically we're going to have a correction. We are certainly due for a correction. And again, it's a correction. I don't think this is all of a sudden just, oh my gosh, watch out, it's going to be bear market. No, I don't think that. I think that it just has to check. Low to high, ridiculous rally, has had nothing but pauses. Like that's your little pause, and we still drifted up through the holidays. Earnings have been decent, enough so in the bigger companies like the top 10 that it's dragged the broad market higher. The market breadth is not really there, but there's enough over the 50 period and the 200 period moving averages that we arguably have a bull market. But when that sentiment shifts, where it starts to get a little bit into the greed, let me go fear and greed here. I think it's the CNN maybe. Google fear and greed index. Yep. So this investor sentiment. Where are we at? Ha! Extreme greed. Okay. Well, I don't know. I would just say buckle up. We're going to have something maybe shock the markets a little bit, rattle the markets. I would just want to be protective. That's all. And that does play well into this extremely low volatility that we've been seeing. Low volatility on the VIX. The expected move. I mean, this is over like a 30-day period. So the expected move on the S&P for the next 30 days is about $12.85. So, I mean, it's low. I mean, historically, the VIX spends most of its life, so about 68% of the VIX is priced between 10 and 20. That's where it is. So we're on the low end of that. These spikes, into the $20 areas, it's good for premium sellers. This is you're getting about 80% of that premium right now. We talked about it yesterday for a little lesson in the equities on demand trading room. But again, I don't know what it is. I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm just saying I'm being pretty cautious, protective of directional plays. I think that everyone's kind of chasing the momentum and hoping that they can jump on and find the next Nvidia. Look, it to me it feels like the market's already made those moves, and I feel like I am it's exactly that. I'd be chasing, and that's not what I want to do. I'm not trying to play catch up. There's ways to trade around them. We'll see if we've had these earnings plays that have kind of blown off levels, create some indecision. Maybe we can collect some premium with a little bit indecision over the next maybe 30 to 60 days. So I'm curious to see what this 500 level looks like. In fact, if we fade off the $500 level today, I do have that iron condor here in my position. So my SPY, the 489, 49 or 498, 499. If we fall back below that, that's going to be in profit. So if we stay above 500 for the day, then this one is no bueno. This is out to Monday though, so I don't know. I might get lucky. I might just leave it alone and give it a chance to work. But I'm looking at full profit on the bull put side, but loss on the bear call side. So if I wanted to roll this out, I could roll my today would be the day I have to do it. I could roll the call up a little bit and take profit on the put, roll that, and just establish a new position. So I'll look to see what I collected on this one overall, but I'll talk about that at the top of the hour. If you have any charts, have any questions, let's type them in the chat. Currency wise, here's what's going on today. We got a big jump in the New Zealand dollar. So that kind of came out of nowhere. What exactly was the news out of the Kiwi? So 6:55 p.m. Today's the 9th, so we're not getting that weird broker separation. So I had an email from Awanda. I had a few students email me this as well. Awanda has something where there's like this kind of blackout, like 6 to 10 minute window where the Kiwis are like not going to be traded, which is kind of strange. But that's on February 12th. This news would have been something around like 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern time. Not sure what that is, but let's have a look. Earnings, S&P, good. We're good. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Let's go Forex Factory. What news do we have overnight? Anything? No, I don't see anything. Huh. Anything low impact? Anything out of Asia? I mean, how does the Kiwi and the Aussie just make a big rip outside of risk on maybe some Asia news or China news? If we go to the filter, anything on low impact? I don't see anything. Huh. Well, that's strange. That is kind of nuts, but that should help currencies that we have, like the New Zealand CAD, making a nice rip to the upside. New Zealand Swiss, nice rip to the upside, continue along with that little squeeze we talked about this week. New Zealand dollar, I didn't want to, I'm glad we didn't short it. Oops. Euro dollar, a little indecisive. Pound dollar, find my fingers here. Pound dollar, indecisive. Back to that yellow box, DXY. What's it doing? Pulling back to that stupid box. Are you kidding me, DXY? Come on, man. This is some chop suey going on. So daily chart still looks legit. Weekly chart, I'd say that's suspicious. Rally off the holiday pivot and up to, this is interesting. So right up into this pocket window with a rejection. Now that's the weekly candle. I'm not quite convinced that like this is the top, but take a look at the daily time frame here. Take a look at the daily time frame. It's still holding for right now. If we have a red candle that continues to push back into the yellow zone, then I would say my long position where I'm looking at this break, retest, and go, that long position doesn't look nearly as good. In fact, I will probably end up stopping out of some of those positions. I am short euro dollar. I'm short pound dollar. That's it for right now. I'm long dollar CAD. But anyway, the daily still seems to be holding. If we hold above the yellow zone, that should be okay. The weekly is, almost rejecting right at the touch of that pocket zone. So that inefficiency, this could be a big supply area. We'll see if this is going to be, hit it all with price. So that's the DXY dollar index. Oil. Are you kidding me, man? Just like we drew it up. Bounced right off that channel. Bummer. Man, I wanted to get some trades on oil. Fudge. All right. So we looked at the 65 by 60s. We had pending in case it came down to retest equal lows. It didn't. That sucks. So, I mean, we've got the direction correct. I've been saying this for the last couple weeks. If you want to be long on oil, just take a position here, wait and see if it revisits these lows for a second position. And this is your risk. This is your reward. I think oil does, head back up to the upside. Right now, it is cooperating in this channel right here. So we're heading to the upside. Gold and silver. Gold still hasn't made a big move up or down. I'm bullish above 2100. I'm bearish in the short term below 2000. Silver still in a range. I'm buying it lower if we come to 1960 or 1820. So I'm definitely going to scoop it up in that zone. Otherwise, I wait for a break above 26 and I go long like crazy. Bitcoin, I saw was trading above 47. Yep. So right at 47,000. I mentioned a couple things. If we went high, low, lower, high, and we push lower, I wanted to scoop up some more Bitcoin on that lower low. It doesn't look like it's the case right now. Therefore, we might have a high, low, might come back and retest the high, come back and retest the low. Again, so I wanted to have a lower low to buy. I might shift this up here towards around 40,000. If we can get back to 40,000 again, I'll look to add into my Bitcoin position. If we don't, and all we do is break the highs and keep running, that's fine. That's why we bought it at 17.5. That's why we bought it at 30. So we will look to stay long if we're going to get a surprise to the upside. This little, ETF announcement, 11 approved, SEC approved ETFs for Bitcoin. If there's some flow coming in there, great. I mean, it should ultimately equal, better pricing, better demand for Bitcoin. Is it changing the market cap side? Coinmarketcap.com. We're looking at 1.79 trillion in the market cap. Is that growing? Let me zoom in and see. I mean, it's been steadily growing. If I zoom in here, if I just go to the last year, so our market cap, this is when we peaked around the SEC announcement, but we are climbing back. So 1.79 trillion. And let's see. What is the total market cap? Bitcoin is around 50%. So still quite dominant. Volume. All right. So this is what I'm looking for. This high, this low. If we hit equal highs, equal lows, if there's a range trade, I'm going to look to buy some more down here. So initially I was looking for like 36 or 34,000. Now I would say just this low around 38. So between 38 and 40 is going to be my next kind of buy the dip add-on spot. If we, break these highs, then this is resistance around 48 to 49,000. That could be a buy spot as well. So I'm still, upside focused on Bitcoin. Remember, we got the highs at 68,000. I think the big milestone would be, 100,000. So we could have that stretch towards 1 to 120. But we'll cheer it on or see if there's a big sideways range. We can maybe trade a big bull flag. Maybe this up here, little flag pattern. We get a chance to buy an equal low and then let this thing break, do its thing. So just looking for some entries. That's all. Okay. All right. So oil, gold, silver, Bitcoin, dollar index, any currency pairs. New Zealand is strong overnight, fading a little bit. Everything else is kind of clustered. The Swiss is soft, which I'm not offended by. So I'm at $10,204 on Portfolio Builder. So that's all positive swap and carry. The drawdown has been reduced. I'm at 9815 for floating. Let me see what I've got for the group position. So I am up right now. All of my drawdowns and pips have been reduced to under 100 pips. So my dollar Swiss is only upside down 73 net. My New Zealand Swiss is up to break even or better now. My New Zealand CAD's up 50 pips. My pound Swiss up 100 pips. Euro Swiss is reduced to 63 in the hole. CAD Swiss has been reduced to 80 in the hole. Aussie Swiss reduced to 85. So the drawdowns are getting better. Dollar amounts at 98.15 for floating P&L, but the actual balance is 10.2. Again, I haven't taken any profit. I'm not taking profit until that thing's at 12,000, 15,000, 20,000. I'm still building and holding positions, looking for a bigger move. But if we start turning the corner on some of those Swiss crosses, a lot of upside potential still remains. So that is the plan. And let's see what else is going on here. All right, just chimed into YouTube, just checking in. Yeah, I'll leave some questions. We have 3 minutes to opening bell. I am logged in. Let's see if the currency strength chart shifts through the rest of the day. I mean, I still don't know what happened here. Does anybody have any explanation for what the Kiwi did? That's a big jump right there at like 6 or 7 p.m. If I went to Market Watch and we come out of the Asia markets, was there any big developments out of the Hang Seng? Nope. I mean, China markets are down. Nikkei is barely green, but let me go to the charts here, I guess. HSI. I mean, it's still pretty flat. And I might still be early to this. Overall sentiment. Okay. Yeah, it remains a mystery, I guess. The old Kiwi just that because that's a big jump. I mean, that seems like a news announcement with a lot of flow, and then the Aussie takes off as well. So, all right, we'll see where this goes for the day. That's a big separator. Yesterday's currency strength chart, Japanese yen extremely weak, just continues to do all sorts of silly stuff. Let's look at those yen crosses just for fun. It's like staring at something you hate. So Aussie yen, we haven't broken the highs yet, but it's just really, really sloppy, really choppy. CAD yen. CAD yen. It's gonna be close. I got a stop loss just above this high. This stupid thing. Swiss yen still hasn't broken. Euro yen bouncing off this trend line support. Pound yen. This one, is it hanging on? Oh boy, same thing. Right back up to the highs again. New Zealand yen. Ooh, it broke the highs. And then dollar yen pushing higher. So 152 high resistance goes back to the October, November 2022 highs. Then we had the same level here around 150, 186. So we'll see if this is capping or if this is going to be a lower high. I would not be looking at major trend line breaks anytime soon. I mean, that's the trend line I'd have to see broken on the higher time frame for dollar yen. Okay, if you heard the bell, it's opening bell. So we're off to the races. Let's see what we have. SPY is sitting at 498.72. Do we have a gap fill for the morning? Let me look at dynamic trends. So we have 50 on the upside. So contract wise, I've got 611 on the upside, 462 on the downside. Let's go real time. 611 stands out at the 500. So I could see price trying to get to 500 today. Fighting tooth and nail for a little bit of a long position. We're coming out of the gate swinging with option call sentiment. So it's a call is 55%, puts are 0. There's just a big absence of sellers right now in the market. If I go out further, I'm just going to my options platform. If I go out to the 15th expiration, which is next week, Thursday, it's kind of 50-50. So I don't have a big discrepancy. If we go out to the 16th, it's still favoring heavy amounts of calls to the upside. So yeah, I mean, next Friday, it overall still looks pretty bullish. It's subject to change, but sentiment and volatility looks favored, bias to the upside. All right, so we'll see if we tap that 500 level today. I, for one, would not be upset if it, fades to 498, 497. Give my iron condor a chance to keep the profit. Otherwise, I'll look at a roll and try to roll it out, maybe out by another week or so, and see if I can keep it net profitable, or at least reduce the size of the loss. Okay. If I'm we got 30 people watching live. Get some thumbs up button for me, for me. Hit that like button for me, please. And guess it's a quiet day in the markets, but am I still in the DIA? Yes. It's a debit spread. It's not just puts. I still have the debit spread, the 374 by 362. That's going to close for a loss. But I'm also in the debit spread. I think we have this out to the 16th. Let me check this here. So I have this one. So this one goes both ways. The 386 by 396, the DIA is trading at 387. We can look at this one for class to see. It may be a small loss. The Q is kind of the same thing. The 432 by 434. The Qs are trading at 433 and change. So we have some value in those, but it's not enough to say we're going to make money on them. The SPY, we made money on both. We made money on the SPY here, made money on the SPY here. The Qs and the DIA for this Friday, for today, it's probably not going to be enough to carve out, full profit. So I think we just look at it as it just didn't move enough. And therefore, I would rather take a small loss on it as opposed to taking a full loss by the end of the day. So we'll see what they're trading for, but I would rather reduce the risk and reduce the loss altogether and then just reestablish some fresh positions. I think we're tapping 500 right now. Yep, 499 getting crossed, and we'll see if it stays there. So 498. Okay, is it melt up or is it just tap the five, satisfy the longs and be done, or is this just melt up, melt up, melt up? I'm seeing 83% on the call option sentiment now. Just big bias. I mean, 83% to zero. That's just trying to squeeze this thing higher. Can you roll an iron condor in one move? No, you have to do each leg. You'll have to do the call side only and then the put side. Yep, you have to do each call spread individually. Correct. It's not that hard. We can do that today in class. We look at the call side because the reality is this: the call side. If I have an iron condor, for example, so this would be my bear call spread. This would be my bull put spread. The bull put spread is going to be in profit, right? So there's not really a roll that's needed on the put spread. What you want to do is you want to roll the call spread out, and then you can close this one for profit. So you take the win on the put side, and then you reestablish a new position on the put side. So you just roll the call spread, right? But we want to keep track of the initial debit. Keep track of the initial debit. Take your profit. So that's going to be a partial profit on the put side, and then establish a new credit with a new iron condor position, right? So net, it's either small win, break even, maybe a small loss, but better than the full. Yep. So we can talk about that. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Any charts? Anything you want me to talk about? Otherwise, I'm good. We did the A to Z broad market. We'll see where we go today. I mean, we're at 499.20, 500, 5,000. We're over 5,000 on the SPX. So the SPY's lagging just a little bit. If the Qs want to rally, we're sitting at these highs. If they want to rally a little bit, that's not a bad thing. The DIA, if it wants to rally a little bit, it's not a bad thing. But I'm not going to sit here and beg and hope that this thing goes higher when maybe the best thing for me to do is take the small loss for today, and then just and maybe the excuse me, maybe the timing is this. Next week is a monthly expiration. So maybe there's more to it, right? So maybe this week, after having more of the kind of broad market, I mean, we had 490 companies, I believe, with earnings this week. Earnings this week was 492 companies. I'd say broad market was in, right? We had our Mag 7 last week, and a lot of the big large mega cap companies were reported earnings that dragged the market higher. This week it's been much quieter, but just no downside. It just hasn't really had equal anything. It's just been like up, pause, up, pause. That's all it is, right? So going into next week's trading, let me look at the calendar for next week. So another kind of consistent, 4 to 500 companies reported earnings. Let's look at the numbers here. 38 on Monday. We'll find some notables, but 38 plus 103 plus 128 plus 131 plus 18. Another 400 plus companies reporting next week. So it's just steady earnings season. I'm not looking necessarily for notables. I mean, I'll use StockTwits for that when they kind of print some of the big ones. Um, here are some highlights. Do I recognize any of these? Coca-Cola has earnings next week. Pepsi had earnings today. Twilio, Sony. Some of these I don't even know what they are. So, anywho, let's go to natural gas, LNG. This is one I'm kind of looking at. Natural gas. Trying to find my. I thought it was just NGAS. Oh, I got to go all. There it is. Natural gas. I'm really curious. This has been crazy volatile. They've dubbed this one the Widowmaker the last like 6 months. We're down. I mean, we're down into like the pits on natural gas. I think if you're willing to take a chance on some natural gas, I would think there's not too much more downside. And I mean, it's not like it's a gangbuster move, but I mean, if we establish a position in natural gas and this thing jumps up, that's a 75% move. It could just be just a little pumperooski though. So I don't know. It's on the radar. I think that it's been beat up enough. It's volatile enough that if we at least hold some levels, we could get some rally. I'm curious with the slightly elevated bullish channel that we have in gas, or I'm sorry, oil, if that translates over into natural gas prices at all. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, we're talking about lows back in 2020 that this thing ranged around before we started to rip to the upside. We're talking lows back in 2016. So that's a decent chunk. I mean, it's 8 years back to have lowest prices in natural gas. So I might look at a couple different plays there for a kind of an inexpensive, maybe allocate $1,000 to it. If it turns into 1750 or 2000 plus, it's not going to be a bad thing. But look for the buying power. That's all. Okay. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. If I don't see any other chats coming in, any questions, any comments, any other charts, I'll wrap it up. Take a little 20 minutes to myself. Equities on Demand students, let's chat about some trades for today. Again, we might be managing some small losses on the Qs and the DIA since we didn't get the directional push that we wanted. The SPY we took profit on, and just kind of assess where we're at for the 2.9 expirations, the 2.16 expirations, and then I'm going to look to possibly roll a couple of the iron condors and reestablish some positions. Maybe go out a little bit further as well. Okay. And that will do it. I'm going to do another session on Monday at 9 o'clock, regular time on YouTube. And then I'm going to have a 10 o'clock session with A1 Trading after their live show. I'm going to have kind of my own segment, so that'll be interesting. We're just going to try something, and yeah, just be digesting some good content over the weekend, and I'll look forward to seeing you all soon. Okay, happy Friday. I'll see you in the trading room here in a little bit, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.